Another month of Breaker 4 has passed, first month actually, and we have seen our first real big quality of life update patch. This is 1.005. Patch notes are flashing on the screen right now. There's a bunch of stuff they changed, altered, or added for us. First and foremost, 3 new kits. The post-launch free rewards that they promised have been added: Mighty Strike Freedom, Calibarn, and Calibarn Permit 5. There's no special mission or anything you need to do to get them. All you gotta do is just walk over to the shop, and you'll see them on the list, as long as you have updated properly. Calibarn, of course, being under the G's for Gundam Calibarn, which has Master Grade versions of each, even though they don't exist. And Mighty Strike Freedom Gundam under M, Mighty Strike Freedom. Again, Master Grade, even though it doesn't exist. They've also brought through a plethora of updates, balance changes, adjustments, bug fixes. Go through a couple here. So, first, foremost, most notably, funnel speed, funnel attack frequency has shot through the roof. I see your eyeball in the big agony on my torso. I'll explain it in a second, don't worry. First and foremost, funnels have been juiced. Absolutely, positively juiced. Before, they were never worth using for their cost, with the exception of some utility choices like GN Fangs or Providence funnels that would have that spread beam that would be a little more efficient in trapping people. Sea Funnel Shield was kind of nice, but using funnels as funnels was just not worth it. Now, though, these funnels have an extreme increase in their aggression and fire rate. We are talking 3 times as fast compared to what it was pre-update. Consequently, since there's more attacks per action duration, the damage is through the roof on them. You can make a dedicated, useful funnel build for clearing content now. The only thing you gotta do is just get that 1 or 2 bars rolling first, and then with the right spread of skills to gain EX back on parts break and such, they can support and feed themselves. You can clear entire maps with funnels now. They're fantastic. If you really want to get the most out of your funnels, here's one cool tip: you can actually double up 2 different funnel skills on the same part slot. Normally, using a holographic part, like using this Providence back, would lock me out of using my C funnels on the back from HFX. But if I use the FX first, as long as they're out already, I can use those Dragoons with no issue. Lets you double up 2 useful things, whether it be fin funnels or Providence Dragoons, for example. Just a neat trick. And of course, once they're all out, you can turn on shooting mode and really crank up the damage. One other change they did, it's a bug fix in fact. Previously, builder's parts would disappear when you would use a holographic skill from that particular part. If I were to use a head skill, my G-Mask mask would vanish. Oftentimes it would not be able to come back unless through some coding fluke, or if it happened to have an active skill on it like an option part, you'd sometimes be able to use it again and get it back. My torso gem there that I have on there would often disappear when I use a torso skill. They have updated and changed it and fixed it, so now you can use whatever holographic skill you want, and it will not eat your builder's parts. They remain exactly where they are. Now, people were taking advantage of this interaction previously to do cool transforming builds or cast-off builds, where you put a bunch of bullshit on top of your Gunpla to give it a different look, different geometry, different aesthetic, then use a bunch of holographic skills to cast it off, to transform into a different look. That's unfortunately dead now. With holographic skills now following the size of the original part, and no longer eating builder's parts, you can't do that anymore. It was cool, but not intended. I totally get it. I think this is going to open up a lot more people to actually using holo parts, since it's no longer to be eating their hard-worked creations. Hard-worked. One other big change they did was specifically reduce the effectiveness of the extra-large Mace's Million Stab String. So this thing off of Barbaros Lupus Rex was by far the most popular melee weapon in the game, because due to some kind of gotta-be coding oversight, you got heavy attack damage off of every single stab in its Lance Million Stab string combo. For example, you can access it by aerial, light, light, heavy. That. Previously, every single hit I did of that would have been the same 23,000 as my regular heavy swing. Now, it's almost a tenth of that. It's been completely gutted down to what I assume is the intentional rate, since this is what lances were at as well. I'm okay with that. It became way too centralizing. It became the only melee weapon anyone ever used because it was just so goddamn devastating. And clearly was not meant to work that way, and has been corrected. Now, it's not a useless weapon. That stab string still generates EX gauge like no one's business, especially against big fat bosses. If you start just stabbing the shit out of Absolus, or Unicorn Perfect Grade, or any other big fatty, you can gain 3 bars by the time it's done. It's fantastic for that. So still use it if you can fit it, if you like that kind of animation, or maybe experiment with one-handed lances proper, if you want to use that kind of tactic. But extra large mace still has a place. So we covered funnels, we covered builder parts no longer disappearing, we covered the extra large mace nerf. There have been a couple other quality of life changes here and there, animation fixes. They improved the power of a few skills. They mentioned Legolas back specifically, which I guess was underperforming, so it got a bit of a boost. There's also been a few other skills people have noted that seem to do more now. Fortress 4 Blaster off H3 Fortress now seems to do double the amount of hits per shot, which makes it quite good at building up your combo meter and being an effective beam blast. They changed a couple animation foibles. Previously, you could use the Flippy Flip skill off of, say, Strike Noir Legs or Rick Diaz Backpack, and if you hit it a certain way and hit another button during, it was really goofy looking. You'd do the flip, but your torso would remain locked in place, so your legs would just kind of flip over your body in a really funny way. That's been fixed, thankfully. It looked funny, but it didn't need to be there. Overall, this is a pretty cool bounce patch. I'm happy they're addressing a lot of these concerns quickly and concisely, as well as bundling in a bunch of extra stuff like the new kits with it. I'm excited to see what the future holds. I know the next thing they talked about is putting a toggle for that annoying message that pops up when you try to fuse a high level, or not high level, but high rarity part. That'll be the next thing people are clamoring for, and I would like to see that too. Either way, till next update, be excellent to each other. Keep raking.